Hi, this is Majinoni, and I got some reviews for you. Two Marvel and two DC ones. We have Batman and Robin 8, Suicide Squad 8, Secret Avengers number 25, and Fantastic Four 605. I'll do Fantastic Four first. Now, this is Hickman after his big epic battle with, it had Galactus, it had Celestials, it had Doctor Doom dying and didn't die. All sorts of craziness happened, and this actually was a really good issue here. Pretty much, I guess you can say this was a bonding issue. You had a bonding moment with Reed and his father, and Reed and Ben. Basically, what's going on is Reed wants to see what's happening in the future. So with the help of his father, I guess you can say, invent a time machine, and they're able to go into the future. Without spoiling all the details, pretty much the story centers around Ben and what happens to him in the future. And the journey wasn't as interesting as, I guess you can say, the last pages, with Reed coming back to the present. For me, while the journey was an interesting concept to see what is one possible future, it was the ending, which was the payoff, which was the here and now. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because even though Reed sees this future, we all know that once Hickman's off this book, it's fair game, anything goes, and who knows what's going to happen, in terms of the future. Everything that's written here, it could be retconned, rewritten. So that's why, for me at least, the journey wasn't as interesting as the end. The ending was it's not necessarily like the Johnny Ben story, where, Johnny went off to die, or, quote unquote die. But it kind of had a similar feeling to it. But it was, I guess you can say, in Reed's own unique, special way. So that's why I liked it. I mean, the art was fantastic, the writing was good, and this was really a good issue overall. Now let's go into Secret Avengers. Now, this was really... This basically did the springboard for something big in the future, which I don't know if somebody else is going to pick up, or is Remender going to do it. If you remember, you have those adaptoids, you had the robots, and then you had robots of existing characters that were dead, and they were trying to save this little kid. You had Ant-Man dying, but yet he didn't die at the end. Crazy stuff happened, that's all I got to say. This is a non-traditional artwork for a superhero title. For me, the art's really working. The action was really good. The way it's kind of like you can tell the Secret Avengers were always on the ropes, and these robots, you just give them a little bit of time, and then eventually they're going to get the upper hand. And you had this sense of urgency that we need to finish this thing. We have to get to the ending, otherwise we're going to die. They had some really great moments in here also. Like, for example, this panel here, this was basically ripped from the X-Men Days of Future Present storyline. If you remember, I forgot which issue it was, but there was one issue that started it where they had Wolverine and Kitty Pryde in the background. You had all the wanted posters that said if they're alive, dead, captured. In the very next issue, you had the Sentinel blasting Wolverine. And so this is basically the Sentinel blasting Captain Britain and the original Human Torch's Storm. So I thought that was kind of like a homage to that. And I said, without spoiling too much, because I don't really want to give out too much of the plot points, I will say this. The Ant-Man resolution was really good. Remender really is planting some seeds for some future storylines, and that part was really good. Now, this is not the last time we're going to see these people. And I'm really curious to see what's going to happen, because basically what's been going on which I guess you already got the hint that this was happening. When this issue or the storyline started, there's humans that are not quite humans. They're basically like a robot, and they're basically like sleeper agents, so to speak. And all it's going to take is either a extreme distress to have their powers activate, or somebody's going to turn that switch on, and then they're going to activate. So that's what I mean. It's like there's something big could happen from this. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. My fear, though, is, this is going to potentially turn into a secret invasion type storyline. And I think if they did it that route, where it was a big blockbuster summer thing, that's the wrong way to go. Because then, that's secret invasion. I'd rather see it contained in the Avengers storyline, and go through maybe two of the books, and then just finish it out. Kind of like what they did with the Osborn War. Something like that would be better. But I would like to see them revisit this later. This was very, very good. I was very happy and pleased with it. Okay, Suicide Squad number 8. Now, this is, I guess you can say this is what we call a jumping on period. You had a bunch of stories that were going on. You had Harley going AWOL, killing on a mass killing spree, looking for the Joker. And now that they got Harley back, basically Walker's pushing the button, doing the reset, getting everybody in line, and it's starting on the next storyline. Now, the one thing I have to admit I'm really getting kind of tired of is how they keep doing this reset type thing. And by that I mean what they do is they go, okay, here's the King Shark guy, and they show him under heat lamps. Okay, here's Bullseye again. Here's everybody down the road, and on the team that they have to basically re-educate everybody. Okay, these are wanted criminals. They're Walker's basically has them all under her thumb, and they basically have to do her bidding. And they have to keep doing that. But I think, with the name of Suicide Squad, I think by now we don't need that kind of repetition. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting is they've introduced this organization called Basilisk, and they're about to insert a sleeper agent, or so to speak, and that person's job is basically to kill her. Now, they haven't shown who that person is in this issue yet, but I'm really curious to see how that story is going to play out. Overall, it still has my attention. I like the art in this one. Part of me likes some of the original artwork from the earlier issues from the relaunch, because it was a lot, I guess you can say, darker. Now this looks more of a superhero, happy feel type thing to it. And this isn't the type of book that's a happy feel book. So they're considering people get eaten. But overall, I'm still enjoying it, and I'm really hoping they do a good job with this. And finally, Batman and Robin 8. This, I guess you can say, is the payoff issue, where you've had how many months issues did we have of Damian bickering with Dick from the original? Then you also had Damian disrespecting Bruce, and Bruce not understanding Damian, that type of dynamic, which, believe me, that it worked. It really did work, especially with Dick Grayson and Damian. That was the best. But, eventually I knew that what would have to happen is, in order for this thing to work, you have to have Bruce and Damian meeting eye to eye eventually, and then you can still have tension from that. And this is the issue here where finally Bruce and Damian basically go, you're my father, and I'm happy that you're my father, and I want, and then Bruce going, you're my son, and well, you have issues because of who you are, I love you also. And that was this is a really good issue for that. The art I thought was okay. I mean, it's good, but it's not it's not doing it for me compared to some of the other Batman books, or the other DC books. But the other important thing was you had Damian, doing that Jedi mind trick thing and killing the guy. Nobody. And, I guess you can say they almost kind of are implying that he's still going to be alive. But we'll see. Overall, though, I thought this was a really, like I said, it was a really touching, touching is the wrong word, because they don't really hug nearly enough as they should have for that kind of a reaction, but you can tell that they're finally making the steps to become like a closer, like a father and son team, and which I think is, like I said, it needed to be done eventually, and overall, this, like I said, this was an enjoyable issue. So I guess you can say, out of these 4 picks, we had actually 4 good reads, which is surprising. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down, let me know what you think, and I'll have more reviews and stuff like that later, so until next time.